You're it's perp. Welcome to another live stream, AOT Live. You know what I'm saying? Tonight I'll be talking about episodes 5 through 10. And I got a special guest with me. I'm gonna bring him in right now. What up, Guru?
What up? What up?
What up? Finally. This has been in the making for years. We finally get to, discuss some AOT. We've definitely discussed some AOT on your platform. I got all of the Black Gurus information in the description below. Make sure you follow everything and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it should be a fun time. Fun little discussion. Episode 10 is definitely crazy. That shit is it should just keeps getting crazier.
It do.
I'm like, like what else are they gonna throw at us? And like next week look like it about to be crazy. But I'm gonna say that for another AOT next month when we get done these 16 episodes because they're definitely coming back for a part two. They're definitely coming
Have
back for a
to.
part two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have to.
What up, Shogun? Ty Smith, salute. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So what I like to do here normally whenever I got somebody new, like as far as on the AOT side of things, I want to kind of because I don't think I've ever asked you like how did you get into AOT? How did you find it and whatnot?
You know what? I really now that you asked that question, I really don't remember how I first
Same.
started watching AOT. Um, I don't know if it was recommended to me. I think I may have heard it bounce around, but I remember watching a few years ago. After season 2 had aired on Hulu. So I don't know if I was just Hulu surfing and stumbled on it. I don't know, but
Mm.
once I got there, I was stuck there.
Yeah, it's the same for me because it's like, did I watch this in like 2014? I think I waited like a year. I think I heard about it, and I might have like my brother's friend might have put me on because like as soon as I heard about it, I literally like binge watched the first season in one like 2 days. I could have done it in one day, but I just like let me hold off on these last two episodes till next day because I was like I literally binged like 23 episodes in one fucking day. That was like insane. But yeah, man, it's so interesting to get kind of people's backstory because like a lot of people that watch the AOT are either already anime fans or they're not even like this is their first anime, which is pretty interesting to me. Um, but yeah, like I said, I'm gonna talk about episode 5 through 10. That's Declaration of War, the Warhammer Titan, Assault, Assassin's Bullet, Brave Volunteers, and a sound argument. See, that's how you know the show is dope when you can remember everything, like just off the top
Right,
of your head.
right.
Like you can just remember stuff. And even going back and rewatching this, like I've rewatched it so many times. I'm going through like my second or third watch through of like season 3. But when when you get to season 2, and I always say like season 2 is the most slept on season because there's so much foreshadowing just in that
Hmm.
season, especially like when you're looking at like the tree scene. That is such an important scene for season 2.
It really is. I'll talk about that later, but I I may do a YouTube video on this. The rewatch value of AOT. I wouldn't even call it rewatch value. I would say it is absolutely mandatory to rewatch Attack on
Mm-hmm.
Titan because it's actually two different shows. I compare it to a reversible coat. You can wear it one way or you watch it one way through the first through your first watch. But once you understand the nature of what's going on with the plot, the character, so forth and so on the rewatch, it's actually a different show. It
Yeah.
actually becomes a different show the second time. So you're not just rewatching for a second dose of the entertainment value. You're actually rewatching to fully understand the context of what you watched the
Right.
first time.
Right. Like when you're like going back to that tree scene, like when your mirror is talking to Aaron, like and talking about how he has to get his feelings in check and stuff. It's just like, oh, it's like to see where he was at that moment with that tree because I feel like that like I would say, because a lot of people say like that episode was at 6 when you find out Reiner and Bertolt are like the armored Titan and
Mm-hmm.
the colossal Titan is the turning point for Eren. I would say in that tree is when he really like went over the deep end, like, and you kind of see that he's very focused, more so in this season than ever. But that goes into the first episode. The episode I wanted to talk about was episode 5, Declaration of War, and I think this is one of my favorite episodes. Like, this is a perfect like just like a teaser going into just like getting right into the action and stuff. Like, and I feel like the most important thing that it wasn't just Reiner and Eren's conversation, even though that was important. But while that's going on down there, upstairs on the stage, you have Willie talking,
Mm-hmm.
and explaining you the actual story of Attack on Titan, like what really went down and like who was the real savior and like the whole um reason why King Fritz wanted to keep the founding Titan and he wanted to stay in the walls. He didn't want to be bothered. And yes, like it was a shitty choice, but at the end of the day, that was the only way he could get temporary peace and stuff. And Eren kind of disturbed that peace by him having the founding Titan and stuff, which is interesting because it was supposed to keep passing down to the Fritz and stuff, and they were supposed to like retain those memories. Like, we're not supposed to, if anybody comes over here, what I'm saying, we're supposed to use the rumbling or pretty much be like passive aggressive kind of. But I want to gotta get your thoughts on episode 5 as a whole.
Episode 5. I think episode 5 is the quintessential AOT episode because what AOT does so well is that it does everything well, but it does this thing in which it likes to foreshadow very well, but then it also likes to mirror itself very well. It likes to tell stories from different perspectives. And I rewatched when Rod Reese became a Titan and he attacked the wall, and he attacked the wall, and then I remember, and I'm gonna tie all this to episode 5. There was 3 kids in the street, and then Eren said, "Look at those 3 kids in the street. They look just like us." When the wall was attacked 5 years ago. But then Eren said, "Well, this time something's different." He turns into a Titan and he defeats the Titan that's attacking the wall. Unlike the original time when Eren, Mikasa, and Armin were kids and they didn't have anybody to come save them. Right. Now that's how the show loves to mirror itself. So it gives you this same scenario through a different perspective, but tells a different story. And that's what we get in episode 5. We get Reiner and we get Eren in that basement having that conversation with one another. And then Eren emerges and becomes the Titan that's attacking, similar to how Reiner attacked, which will essentially be 8 years ago, back when Eren was a little kid. So you get this perfect mirroring of a situation. And back to what you talked about with the tree. Reiner, the tree episode, when they were all in the tree, was important too. Well, this is actually a different tree episode. This is when, no, this is the same. Reiner had a mental health breakdown.
Yeah.
Because he had a bit of an identity crisis. He didn't understand if he was a warrior, or a soldier. So he always kind of struggled with identity and who he was as a person. And we get that when he's having this conversation with Eren, when he's mentioned some of their past conversations, and Eren said, "Man, I don't even really remember that shit you're talking about right now because, I'm on a whole different page right now." So Reiner is a very interesting character, and for him to sit right across from Eren and have this conversation in front of Falco, and it's fuck Falco for me still because we'll get to that, but I find this to be the quintessential episode of Attack on Titan. I think the entire season 4 hinges on this episode, and I think it really resonates and shows Eren's kind of pivot to a more villain protagonist from the perspective of the Marleyans.
Right. And the funny thing about it is this in the manga was chapter 100. So like it was a special moment, you know, for Attack on Titan and stuff like this, the 100th chapter and stuff like, you know, he meant to like he wanted to let people know, like Isayama wanted to let people know, like, yeah, this is what Attack on Titan's all about right here, just like everything that's going on in this chapter, in this episode and whatnot. And it's funny that you mentioned that because, like, that's why I say, like, when you rewatch it and you see Reiner in that tree bugging out, you're wondering, like, what the fuck's wrong with him. And then when you got the context of why he's like that, it's mind blowing. It's it's like everything just comes back full circle.
Right.
It's crazy. And like when Willie's telling his speech, and before he declares war on Eren, Eren actually kind of you see his facial expression kind of change. He's like, wait, maybe there's a different way. But then he's like, nah, fuck it. Like he just declared war on me. And but you know, Willie, Willie, I would say he's one of my favorite characters, for as short-lived as he was in the series. He was only in the series for like 3 episodes, but for him to be the most powerful man in the world, or the most influential, whatever you want to call him, and for him to like stand up and just like he knew exactly what he was walking into. He had the feeling, and I like how they kind of hid who the Warhammer Titan was, because a lot of people thought it was Willie, and I think Eren thought that too, and stuff. And while that's still going on, you got Eren kind of pressing Reiner, like, "Yo, don't try nothing, bro. There's people upstairs." Like he knew exactly what he was doing. Like it was so well calculated by on Eren's part and stuff. And I thought that whole episode was really dope.
Quintessential. I say,
yeah.
You know, one of AOT's many like 10 out of 10 episodes.
Yeah,
for sure.
And it caught Falco completely off guard. He had no idea. He was like, "Shit, what the fuck did I get myself into?" Like, he's like, "I thought this was your friend," and like he kind of should have put two and two together. But I understand he's a child, so kids are easily like they don't really know no better at the age, like at 12 years old or some shit like that. He don't really know nothing. You know, he befriended who we thought was Eren Kruger, which that's also an interesting twist, to like name himself Eren Kruger. And it's another Jaeger kind of meeting a Grice, because Grice was the one that got Grisha, was it like their uncle or something like that, who would have been his uncle, got him into the whole what's the term I'm looking for? The whole people at Marley and stuff like that. I forget what they were called. I'm drawing a blank on it, but yeah, it's just so crazy how we see those parallels and how they cross paths once again and whatnot. But yeah, I thought episode 5 is definitely an important episode leading into the next few episodes to go with it. And I wanted to go into episode 6, which that's where everything just all hell breaks loose. We finally see the final Titan, which I think maybe is the final Titan. There probably is another Titan or something like that, or say as far as the most powerful Titan is the Warhammer Titan. And before we get there, we see just Eren just wrecking shit. Just like he blows up the fucking the little house building with all the families in it, and everybody's just in shock. Like that was epic. He eats fucking Willie. I'm assuming like he thought that Willie was the Warhammer Titan. Because why not? And it was so smart to have all these different powerful people in the internment zone. Because what a way to make an impact on Marley and just the world, saying like, fuck y'all, like I'm declaring war on y'all. And he knew exactly where to go. He's like, he aimed right to the dudes that are sitting there, the soldiers, the military and stuff, just going crazy. And you see Gabby freaking out. That scream that she let out when she saw Sophia, like, that was just. I want to see that in the dub just to see how it matches up, but I don't know, man. That voice actor, voice actress, Gabby, is amazing. The voice acting period is amazing, especially with Eren's. voice actor, because he actually is able to like hide his voice because you don't know exactly. Because I watched so many different like reactions and stuff before we see that it's actually like Aaron. That a lot of people didn't know that was Aaron. But when you watch the dub, you know automatically based off his voice that's Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just want to kind of get your thoughts on just that opening of episode 6 before we get to the Warhammer stuff.
Episode 6, the opening was fire. What sticks out to me the most is the Warhammer stuff. For us to finally see the Warhammer Titan, I love the way he destroyed Willie. You know, he kind of eats Willie in midair, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful allusion to which I feel like is one of the greatest pilot episodes in TV history. The pilot episode of Attack on Titan season 1, episode 1.
I've always said that too.
Yeah, and it's just an incredible illusion. It's an incredible callback that now Aaron is essentially inflicting that same level of carnage and danger to the next generation. So and one thing about Aaron that's interesting is that even if you go back to some of his early Titan transformations into the Attack Titan, he was always hell bent on destruction. And the true tragedy of Aaron, and I don't know how this series is going to turn out, but the true tragedy of Aaron is that he became the thing he hated the most. Mm-hmm. He became the thing he hated the most. He hated Titans. He is a Titan. And even though he did good for the people of Paradise as a Titan, he still ultimately attacked Marley in the same fashion that Raynor attacked the Wall. So he literally became the thing he hated the most, which I find to be such a Shakespearean tragedy in a sense, because it's just a great bit of introspective depth that comes with the Aaron character. And episode 6 is a great battle. Now, one thing I noticed about episode 6, this is when I began to truly notice the animation.
Okay, the CG,
I noticed that for the first time, because if you look at the season 1 animation of Attack on Titan was just okay. Season 2 was better, but season 3's animation is absolutely stunning. Stunning. So I was trying to give this studio a chance. I was just kind of following along. I wasn't making too big a deal.
You gotta kind of give them the benefit of the doubt because they had a shitty like schedule, so they had to kind of, you know, they had only like 6 months to play, like 6 months or something like that. Because that's why no other studio wanted to really like touch it, not even with studios, because of the scheduling.
Understandable. So I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt and everything. But when it comes to this high octane action, like we got in episode 6. That's when it really hurts the most, in my opinion. Some of the set pieces and everybody sitting around talking and stuff, I can kind of, I'm okay with that. But when it comes to that high octane action, I mean, you know, you could definitely see the difference.
You could definitely see like where they hand drawn certain like scenes. It wasn't like always CG and stuff. Like when he eats Willie and stuff, that's obviously CG. You could see that, you know, in other scenes, like. As the episodes go, I think it got better. They like definitely were listening to people, like, you know, like really like trying to like clean it up as much. And Mappa is known to like always go back when they put out the Blu-rays to always touch up on the animation. So the Blu-ray is probably gonna look different than when it's out on TV because they always do that stuff. But yeah, I understand. Like, but I don't think that Mappa deserves to get like, because people were like harassing the fuck out of them on Twitter and stuff and saying like, oh, do this and that. I was like, bro, you're like, you even just getting this. Like, I could completely understand that. Like, it's definitely noticeable at times, but it doesn't take me out because I'm just engaged in what's just happening. It's so much shit happening at once. So like, yeah, I could definitely see people's gripes with the animation. That's why I say if they take a year off and they come back with part 2, I think the animation will be a lot crisper, a lot cleaner.
I believe so too.
Because if you look at what you could go check out like their other anime they're working on, like Jujutsu Kaisen, you could tell that they got time, like enough time to really animate that shit. There's like no CG in that like at all. It's all hand drawn and stuff like that. it's pretty incredible. But you know, I could give them I give them a break because this is like this is the part that people were kind of waiting for. They like it was a slow build up, but the build up I felt like was worth it because we got two back to back action pack. Well, I could say three back to back action packed episodes. You know, we finally get introduced to like the Warhammer Titan, the last Titan out of the nine, and that shit is OP, but it's so easy to kill if you know what you're doing. Like,
Mhm.
if you have like an attack titan or something like that, like it and it moves slow as hell too because it's all crystallized and stuff. I noticed that as well. Um,
It
but
seemed to me at the moment, it seems like the Warhammer Titan is really just an upgrade for Aaron. I mean,
yeah,
if you look, he took that hardening kind of serum in that cave back in season
hmm
3, which allowed him to protect everybody from the cave collapsing. So he kind
yeah,
of upgraded his hardening ability there. And
yeah,
it seems like the Warhammer Titan just functioned as the ultimate um, hardening upgrade for the attack Titan.
yeah.
So
It's
I
most
think,
like a yeah. I think with the War Titans uses, it's mostly strictly like offense. Like you have to have somebody defend, like kind of defending the egg, the crystal and shit, like so nobody gets to it while it's still doing its thing. But it's dangerous that it can just make things out of anything. Like it can make crossbows, swords, and shit like that. That's OP as shit. But yeah, it's definitely, and I think Laura, because they even explain like it's based on the user as well too. So like I think Aaron will be able to use it more efficiently than she did. What's up, everybody in the chat though? I see y'all. But yeah, like it's dope. Like you see the progression and like how much he's been through in the last 4 years. Just like him jumping in and out of his Titan form. I thought that was pretty dope.
yeah, the
Yeah,
mastery of the form that,
and he's
mhm.
yeah, and he's just mad calm. He doesn't lose his cool or nothing. And it's crazy that like he was banking like pretty much banking that like the scouts would show up like Mikasa and all them like so that was the interesting part about this like when the scouts show up Mikasa's like you know what you've done here, you've killed women, you've killed families and childs and stuff, and Aaron's just like I don't give a fuck. That shit was crazy, but yeah, it's just that's definitely going to have some ramifications if not now like going forward. But yeah, how do you feel about just the aftermath? Like, well, not the aftermath because it continues, but when the scouts show up and stuff. Like, a lot of
That
people like that moment.
fuck what you mean? Like I love it when the scouts show up and Captain Lee, because this is the first time we get to see Captain Levi. I have been begging for Levi all season. I'm like, where is Captain Levi? Fuck all of this bullshit. And when Captain Levi comes through, I'm fucking pumped. Now, I'm jumping up and down now. I'm excited. He comes through. I see my girl Hanji come through. Everybody is there. Hanji was in the blimp, so we just had the
Yeah, she comes later. She
Mikasa.
comes later.
Yeah, Mikasa was there, and I'm just so excited to see everybody. So that was a big scene for me. And then that final scene when the Jaw Titan was sitting there and he was like,
Yeah,
I'm a
parkour.
Titan and they coming to kill me. Don't they understand? And then he called them the devils from paradise. I said, oh my God. And that scene was just so fucking
But
poetic and
first he was like,
awesome.
"Oh, that's Ackerman. Like that's that."
Yeah. He was like, so it's so awesome that Levi's reputation perceives him even across the ocean. Like his
Yeah.
reputation perceives him so much that it's like, oh, that's the one everybody be talking about. Like it's him.
Well, he sees that because of the memories he has from Ymir and stuff. Like, because that's why you remember he mentions like, oh Ryan, you always had to get saved and stuff like that and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. And he didn't know what the Ackermans are about until he met two of them. That's trouble right there. If you see two of them.
Yeah, it's just that final scene where they're just swarming in after him, and he said, "It's but this must be them, the devils from paradise, bro." I still call them that to this day, bro. I just call the whole crew the Devils from Paradise because I feel like that's their name to me now. Like that's what I call them. So
one more scene though, like when Aaron was facing up with the Warhammer Titan. This was great. This was a great scene where you see the Warhammer like transforming, and he ain't, like the Warhammer didn't even get to transform until like Aaron's like, nah, fuck that shit, fuck that shonen transformation shit. We don't respect that. Like I love that. I love that shit. That was a great episode. Then it goes right into episode 7. Episode 7, because like in episode 6, Aaron's trying to eat the Warhammer Titan, but he's still stuck in the crystal, trying to figure how to get that out. The scouts are fucking up everybody in Marley. Like it's just everything's going crazy. The Beast Titan shows up, calls out Levi, be like, "Yo, Aaron's not my enemy." Mm-hmm. Levi, come on out. I got a bone to pick with you. Throwing rocks at everybody. Like this shit was crazy. You saw Porco, you saw Galliard getting his ass destroyed. Like he's and then like fucking Peak got wrecked, destroyed. Like
I love it. Let's talk about that. That's when Sasha put that bullet in that guy's head, right?
Yeah,
man. When I tell you, she got her fucking ass wrecked, and when Sasha sat there and she loaded up that bullet and she hit his ass with that one shot, pow! Yeah. I said, "Oh my girl, Sasha."
One thing I can appreciate in that little scene, like how the tanks in World War II and all that stuff, they actually had pictures of people and stuff. Like they were literally like Peak's fan club and stuff, and then you had Jean come in. Man, that was and they just lit her ass up. I was like, yo. And she just falls off to the side. You had Falco's bitch ass trying to be like, no, don't do it. Gene was about to hesitate. He said, fuck that. Whoa, just hit. He was about to kill that boy. Oh man, that shit was crazy.
Yeah, and this is when we basically get, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but outside of Annie, the female Titan, everybody was present. Every single Titan was present at this moment.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. This is when so we got Colossal, we got Attack, we got War, we got Cart, we got Jaw, we got Beast.
Yeah, everything but the female Titan. You're right. Yeah.
Everybody but the female Titan was present. So this was an unprecedented moment in Attack on Titan. The fact that all of the Titans were present and in battle. For the most part, we're still waiting on the Armor Titan to transform, but everybody's in the same arena for the first time. So this is another quintessential element of this season. I think from episode 5 to about episode 7, 8, I think that may be one of Attack on Titan's greatest arcs for what it represents, for the change of perspective that it offers. I think there will be college courses taught about these 4 episodes. They're going to teach college classes about this shit because it's just that good, in my opinion.
And just the way Aaron was able to just think find out oh shit, Jaw Titan could break this crystal shit. So I'm gonna have to use him real quick. And people thought oh, he's just gonna eat the Jaw Titan. They didn't do that. Nah, he's gonna fuck up the Jaw Titan, rip off all his limbs, and then just use his mouth. And they quote him as the nutcracker effect, and he just drinks the blood of the fucking Warhammer. And that right there, you were the scouts was looking at that, and there's there's something wrong with Aaron right now. He's just that's not the same Aaron that we've seen in season 1 or 2.
Right.
He's on a whole different mission. And man, just seeing Levi take out the Beast Titan, I was like, bro, that was way
let's not skip past the brutality. Well, you hinted at it, but I just want to go a little deeper.
Go ahead.
Brutality of using the Jaw Titan to crush the crystal and drink the blood of the Warhammer Titan. That entire scene, the brutality and how this scene was shot and framed, how we squeeze in the head, applying more and more pressure, the shock on the Jaw Titan's face.
Yeah, he was just like,
yeah, he's
wow.
like, what the fuck is going on here? So he's shocked. He couldn't believe it. The shock on the face of the Warhammer Titan, understanding that this is it and she's about to be crushed to her death in this sort of violent fashion. I mean, this stuff here, and then we get the I'm pretty sure you're about to touch on this, but you know, we obviously get what happens with Armin, right? But just the simple brutality, the sheer brutality of that is amazing.
Yeah, man, it's like, and then when Armin pops up, I think that right there is like up there is like one of the greatest transformations that I've ever seen in anime. Like, just like he just like they have no idea what the fuck's going on about to happen. He just lifts his hood and transforms, and boom, you got the Beast Titan, the Car Titan, and the Jaw Titan all watching this big ass explosion. Gabby's in shock, and like McGaff is like, "Yo, y'all gotta get the fuck out of here! Like, we gotta get y'all out of here!" Like, and McGaff probably had the best reaction to like when the Warhammer got eaten. He just had the face palm like, "God damn, we fucked up right now."
Right.
And I love that, like, you know, Galliard or Porco, how you want to call him, like he was such like caught up with different things he could not focus, and he got his ass caught up, and you know he forgot about the other Ackerman, got his legs chopped. Oh man, that was so well done.
I love that scene by Mikasa. But what Peck told his ass, Peck said, "Hey man, chill, bro. You're a little too gung ho right now. We really don't know what their plan is, and you trying to charge head first and shit. We don't know." And then he tried to, you know, explain himself, and she was like, "Well, that's more of a reason to be cautious because we don't really understand everything we looking at." And he charges out head first, and that other Ackerman, Mikasa cut his nuts off. Whoop, whoop.
Yo, it still freaks me out when I hear Peak talking her Titan voice. That shit is so fucking it's disturbing as hell. I was like, how does this beautiful woman sound like that in her Titan form? Like,
and the Titan looks disturbing too.
Yeah,
you know, so it's
like who, like I want to do another ALT live sometime in the future about that. Like what Titans people would be like. Who would want to actually be the Cart Titan? Like, that's obviously the weakest one, but who would actually want to be the Cart Titan? Like yeah, I wanted that one. Like, but I guess because you can like be in that form a lot longer, I guess that's why, you know, it was more comfortable for her, because she was always crawling on the floor and shit, like outside of her Titan form. But man, those 2 episodes were brutal. Like when the episode 7 is named Assault, it really lives up to that, man. It's just like it was all out assault, because it just shows you how far these scouts have come. Like, they were struggling in season 3. They still beat them, but they were struggling against like the Armor Titan, the Colossal Titan, and the Beast Titan. Like, they were literally boxed in from each, like outside the walls, inside the walls, like, and still managed to like survive, but with hella casualties. And for them to, we're about to get to episode 8, for them to only have what, like 6 casualties, or like 6 people die, like that's pretty crazy. That's pretty impressive. But
paradise.
But yeah, so now,
well, wait a second. If I'm not mistaken, doesn't this episode end with Gabby and Falco screaming for the Armor Titan? I want to talk about that.
Go ahead.
Because the voice acting, you know, it's only the sub, but the voice acting on the desperation and the screams of both Gabby and Falco, I thought was so well done. As you know, they're completely hopeless, they're completely out of options, and they just begin to scream for some sort of refuge, for some sort of hero, for somebody to help save them from this situation. And that's when Reiner, you know, he says, "Just please let me die." But then he does show up to help assist and provide some aid for you know, the Marlians at the time. So I just feel like that scene right there was so well done. Now, do I love that Armor Titan kind of redesign? Nah.
Well, yeah, that was because he didn't really want to, because
Yeah,
it all he kind of like was gassed anyways too. So it looked kind of cool,
it
like
was
because
kind of
he had
cool.
like
Yeah, it was kind of cool, but I just don't. What I don't like about the animation, and I'm not one of those guys who hate on the animation. I feel like it's just fine. It's just false. It's just substandard compared to season 3 of Attack on Titan. But other than that, it's fine. But one of the things I don't like about the animation overall in this season is that the colors are not as vibrant. So it's not as colorful. And normally the Armor Titan is a very, a certain type of colorful gold and a very vibrant red. It has a very vibrant look, and it just didn't quite have that.
Maybe that has something to do with it being nighttime, because you remember in the first episode he was like, you could see like the colors would like pop a little bit more. Maybe it's because it's at night and stuff, but that's a good but they definitely make up for it like in the next episode, because that whole fight right there, like that quick little fight, was hand drawn and stuff. They used no CG and nothing like that. So yeah, that goes up. That brings us, because the whole time, like, Reiner didn't want no parts of this. He just wanted to die. Right. He's like, yo, leave me the fuck alone. He's like, I'm done with this shit. Like, I fucked up, and that's the whole thing about this. Is like, this whole story of Attack on Titan is fucking Reiner's fault. Like, he really set this shit into motion. Like, he created Eren himself, like the monster that we see, like right there. He set everything in motion, which is just crazy when you go back and rewatch that shit. Now you have context for everything. But going to episode 8. Now this was a very emotional episode for a lot of people. Like, I've seen a lot of people get really emotionally wrecked over this episode. So, Gabby is pissed off. Everybody's pretty much like, well, first you have Reiner and Erica square off for like a little mini scrimmage. And this was actually a callback to, what was it, season 2, episode 7, when they first fought each other. Like how Eren got his jaw broken. Now Reiner got his shit broken. And he let him live. He's like, we'll fight again another time. He didn't want to finish him, even though he could have finished him. I do like the fact that scene was so crazy. Like, he's holding the Jaw Titan while charging at Reiner and stuff, and Reiner's able to still get the Jaw Titan back and stuff, which was interesting. A lot of people said, oh, he could have just ate the Jaw Titan right there and then. It's just like, I don't think he was sort of thinking about, like, I think at that time Eren was just thinking, like, let me see how much I can collect, like, right off rip. If I can get the Jaw Titan, I get it. If I don't, whatever. And they were both pretty much gassed because he transformed a third time. That was his third transformation. So yeah, he was pretty much done. They retreat, and Gabby's like, nah, fuck that. Y'all ain't going nowhere. I need some revenge and stuff. And I like the interaction between Falco and Gabby, like just that conversation, like how Falco understands like the people in Paradise Island. He understands about like what Eren was talking about, which is like, and Gabby's like, I feel like Gabby doesn't understand because she's just blinded by rage at this point. Like, she just like, we've been shitted on here as well. Like, it's been bad for us, and she just wanted the world to look at them as like the good Titan, like the good Eldians and stuff and whatnot. And that's why I said, like, she is pretty much like the female Eren at that point. Like, because Eren, like, at that age, he was just like, fuck Titans, fuck this, and like he had that bloodlust and stuff. And one dude had to be I guess he was like a recruit or something. He had to he hesitated because he saw a child and he got his head knocked off. That was the only way she was able to get up there with the ODM gear. And then we get the tragic moment where Gabby shoots shoots for a random person and ends up fucking being Sasha.
But now we have to stop right there.
Go ahead.
Because I talked earlier in this particular live that it's very important, I believe, for fans of the show to rewatch the show. It's critical, in my opinion, mandatory. And one of the things I noticed on my rewatch is if you go back, Sasha was always the one, because she's a hunter. One of her things she would always do is she would hear shit before it happens. So anytime she's with the group, she's always like, I hear something. What was that? I heard something. Hey, someone's coming. I hear something. Now, she did that multiple times throughout the seasons and multiple times throughout the show. So when she says, I hear something, when Gabby first hits the blimp or hits the aircraft, that should have been taken more seriously than what it was. So I kind of look at that as a failure of the scouts to not really hone on one of their comrades' key abilities. When Sasha says she hears something, 10 times out of 10 she's right, and 10 times out of 10 it's something that you need to be aware of. So when she heard something hit the blimp and she says, I heard that, that should have been taken more seriously than what it was at the time.
That's good. Yeah, that makes me look at that scene completely different now. Because you're right. Because she's always been like that. That was always her character. She's always been like a hunter type. Like she knew how to, like, track shit down. But what made Sasha a really special character is, and I understand a lot of people are saying, like, there is that crowd that says, like, fuck Sasha, whatever the fuck. I don't condone that. I don't condone that. But Sasha was the first time we really saw, like, some humor in Attack on Titan. Like, she brought that humor. She brought that, like, lightheartedness anytime she was on screen.
What do you mean people saying fuck Sasha? For what?
I'm just saying, like, nah, I don't know, but I guess there's some people that are not fans of Sasha. They don't really care for a character, which, like, I don't understand how, because, like I said, like, the first moment that you meet her in, like, episode 3, like, she's known as the potato girl, and it's just like the compassion she shows for just, like, her comrades and stuff. It's just like it was something to see. But you know what I'm saying?
I think it's just people trolling the sentiment. We get that a lot in the internet age, where if people have an overwhelming sentiment going one way, you're going to have people who take the opposite way just because it exists. But like I said, Attack on Titan is a mandatory rewatch. You have to rewatch it. And if you rewatch it, understanding what you know now, you will have a better appreciation for even Sasha. Like I just suggested, Sasha was always, her skill set was that of a hunter. So she was essentially a Duro character from The Walking Dead. She had the same skill set, great with a bow and arrow, could track through the woods, and she had a real keen, sensitive ear. And she was also very nervous at first, but then she became very brave, and killed the Titan with her bare hands. Now, who else on this show can say they killed the Titan with their bare hands?
Right.
Or took down a Titan or stopped a Titan with their bare hands.
Right.
There was this beautiful scene where she had a few bow and arrows, and she shot one and she missed. She shot him in the eye and she had one left, and she was about to shoot it. She said, if I miss, well, then I'm going to die. She said, fuck shooting the bow and arrow. She just grabbed it, jumped, and stabbed the fucking Titan in the eye with it. Now, who else got the balls to do? What other female character on the show besides maybe Hanji or Mikasa had a fucking balls to do that? She's on the same caliber as far as I'm concerned. So the whole fuck Sasha thing, I understand it in the sense that it's just, the opposite sentiment to people actually caring about her. But I do feel like she's a great character overall and very essential to the show.
Now, see, if it was like somebody like Connie, I wouldn't really feel that. I wouldn't, like, it wouldn't hit me. Like, it would be like, it would suck, because it's like, yo, we've known this character for X amount of, like, seasons and X amount of episodes and stuff. But, like, we got a lot of character development with Sasha and stuff, and, like, she's been very, like, a key character for a lot of different reasons, like you said, like, you know what I'm saying. But, like, seeing her death, like, just the way that was choreographed and stuff, and how they just did that, was, I thought it really, like, took the air out of the room. Like, damn, like, Sasha of all people. And I understood why it had to be Sasha, and why I think that's going to cause division between, like, within the scouts, like, because, like, when we get into like episode 10 and whatnot. We gotta touch on that, but and that goes back and then we get that bombshell of like this was Zeke's plan the whole time, mostly, as he says, like mostly it was his idea, like him, like I guess setting up in the tournament zone and stuff like that. Them always come, and I like how Hanji always says like, "Yo, we're always coming to save your ass." Like Eren, now we kind of lost trust in you and stuff, like, and they like I said, like you keep saying, like you rewatch the show. There's a scene I think it's in season 2 or 3 where he's talking about like how he got kidnapped or something like that, or so he's getting kidnapped, and it's fucked up that he kind of used that tactic to like get them to come over and stuff because they know how essential he is. Like he has the founding titan, he has the attack titan. So if they lose that, then they're kind of fucked. But also seeing Gabby and Falco's face, they were kind of shocked. Like, damn, like you were working with them the whole time, and to find out that like Zeke has followers, devoted followers and stuff too, like that kind of changes everything now because now you don't know what the fuck, like who the fuck to trust at this point because it's like this flips everything on its head and stuff, and you know, it was just really well done because like you know they're sitting there celebrating. Flock is sitting there celebrating like, yeah, we only got like 6 casualties, and I think that's the the main reason why they weren't really paying attention to the back because they're sitting there celebrating. They're caught up in the moment, and you know, but that shit was crazy. How do you feel about that whole Zeke reveal? And that was like kind of mostly his plan.
That kind of caught me by surprise. Honestly, I didn't think Zeke was in the middle of that. One of my biggest pet peeves with a show is what I like to call like a fake out death. Is when the show kind of gives the audience a depth of a character, but only to reveal that character is not dead. So they kind of fake it out just for the shock value of that particular kill, just to kind of play with the audience. And when Levi killed the Beast Titan, it almost looked, and I had people suggest to me that, you know, maybe that was like a fake out death, that they're showing that, you know, Levi killed the Beast Titan just because it's a good look or whatever. But to ultimately find out that it was a part of Zeke's master plan, I thought that was just so clever, so well done, because in actuality, it was a fake out death. But it wasn't to fake out the viewing public, you know, us as audience members. It was to actually fake out the people of Marley. You know what I mean? So I just felt like that was just so well done. And AOT they're really good at that. They're really good at taking some of these tropes that you find to be just negative and poorly done in a lot of other areas of cinema, right, and film and television. And they take some of those basic things, but still use them very well. So that the whole Zeke reveal, and when Gabby had to realize, because she's going on and on about what her fearless leader gonna do and all this shit, and then she opens up, and then the guy's like, well, how about you tell him yourself? And
yeah, like John's like, yeah, I'll take him to you. I'll take him to you.
Yeah, and she sees the shit, and she's like, damn, that's fucked up. And to my fuck Gabby, you know, it's fuck Gabby with me, period. It's fuck Gabby because she ain't had no business fucking shooting Sasha. She had no business getting her fucking ass on the aircraft. After Falco told her that, you know, Rainer attacked those people, she sit her ass up there and say, oh, did you see it? Well, neither did I. Bitch, it ain't about what you didn't seen or didn't see. So she's so committed to her fucking hate and violence that she's beyond reason. So fuck that bitch. I don't give a fuck about Gabby, and I'm gonna tell you this: I don't give a fuck about Falco either. They on the same, they birds of a feather, 2 peas in a motherfucking pod, as far as I'm concerned.
Right. Like even though I give Falco some so because I don't feel like he should got stomped out like that, but he got you're right. He's at the wrong place at the wrong time. Like that's.
Yeah, he's an accomplice as far as I'm concerned. And she hopped her ass on there and want to shoot and shoot scouts and shit, even after Falco told her the fucking truth. And she's so hell bent on killing Eren Yeager and all this stupid shit. Fuck her. Fuck her. I have no compassion for Gabby whatsoever. If it was up to me, I would have threw her fucking ass out of that aircraft spinning. She'd have been spinning like a motherfucker till she hit that concrete, and Falco would have been right behind her ass. I'd have flipped they fucking asses like beanbags out that goddamn aircraft. For real, because
Yeah.
that's what they deserved, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, man, that's that. Yeah, it is crazy, like how they set up these characters because on both sides it's fucked up. But like we've been following the scouts for this so long, so it's just like we on their side automatically and stuff. But we see that they're both like both sides of the Eldians are like fucked up because they got kind of going through this whole their own like kind of civil war. But yeah, it's just like I think down the line, I think Gabby's gonna end up paying for that, because they got them as prisoners now.
And I can't
pretty
wait
much so. So let's go to episode 9, 9 and 10. That's where we kind of get the backstory of like how this plan all came about. And I like that Armin was the one that was narrating this kind of episode. You don't know exactly at first who he's talking to, but like I don't know if it was you or if it was Elge that was saying like I want to know what happened like in that like that little 4-year span, like how did we get here and stuff. But I'm glad that they showed us exactly what happened and like kind of Zeke's plan and everything and just how the what are they called, the anti-Marley volunteers or something like that, like that's the group that Zeke formed and stuff. And I loved how this episode started off with the guys going over to Paradis. You got the ships going over to Paradis because they mentioned in like episode 2 that there was like what 30 something ships gone missing ever since then. And it's like I was always wondering like I wonder what happened to them. And fucking I love that scene where Aaron just picks up the boat. That's a call back to season 3. That's a call back to end of season 3. And he's like just got it on his back, and he's just like he just brings it to shore. And these dudes and Hanji comes in with open arms and stuff. He's like, "Yo, welcome." Tries to be peaceful with it. And the Marlians on the ship, they're like they still try to pop them off ship, but like they don't know that there's a Titan behind them. And Aaron looks so menacing in like just his attack Titan form. Like he just looks menacing with the green eyes and everything and shit. And we get introduced to new characters like was it Yolanda? Is it like Yolanda?
Yeah, Yelena, something like this, something like that.
Yelena. That's the blonde hair chick that trapped the cart in the Jaw Titan, and also is the follower of Zeke and stuff. And the other black guy also, I keep drawing a blank. It's crazy that I know the Asian woman's name. God damn, I just lost her name too.
The one that's related to Mikasa or knows?
Yeah, the one that's related to Mikasa and stuff. Yeah, we can talk about both episodes, but I thought it was interesting how it all came about. How Yelena is sitting there explaining like how Marley has a huge army. You got like what they said, like 1 million soldiers or something like that. It was pretty funny. Like Hanji was kind of like freaking out, and Levi's like, "Nah, don't don't show no fear or nothing like that." And that was really interesting. I want to kind of get your thoughts on that.
It's a lot going on. We're getting kind of a lot of backstory and a kind of lot of fill in to what brought our characters to this place. I think it almost, tells me that we got to have a season 4 part 2, because we spend the first half of season 4 rather, establishing what's going on with the Marlians and Rainer's perspective and all that, Gabby and some of these new characters. Then we get the arc of the battle that takes place in Marley. And for the past 2 episodes, we're getting backstory of what happened on the Paradise end leading up to all of that. So we've been doing so much groundwork over the past 10 episodes, basically, that we haven't had a consistent, events that take place back to back to back that happens in sort of real time. Everything's been backstory and foreshadowing and things of that nature. So these past 2 episodes represent that. We're getting a lot of some of the politics, some of Zeke's backstory, some of the nature, and I think fundamentally what we're getting is the deterioration of the relationships that we established with our Paradise group that we meet at the beginning of the show. Mikasa, Armin, Eren, and everybody like that. So we're starting to see how things have changed amongst them that led to that look that Armin gave Eren as he's pulling them up on the airship.
Yeah.
They gave him a we didn't really talk about that look, but Armin gave Eren a particular look, and we're kind of getting the backstory behind what that really means. So I like it. I like it. I wish I don't know. I was going to say I wish it happened chronologically, but AOT is very great at how they tell their story, so I'm not tripping on that. But I think this is when all of this stuff happens, and I think some of these new characters, like the black guy, and I gotta kind of get the feel them out. So right now we're dealing with some characters that I see them, I hear them, but I don't really
trust them.
Yeah, I don't trust them. I don't feel them yet.
It's perfect how they set that up in this episode. Like when you see Pixis, and shout out to Pixis, and he's still kicking. Like how he they don't like the people at Paradise don't trust like Zeke. They're like, yo, this dude just killed like how many of our people and stuff, and y'all want us to trust these Marleyans and stuff. And I think what really made them suspicious when they go back to like Sasha's funeral and stuff, like to her grave at least, is what Eren does. And at that moment, it's just like they can't trust Eren or Zeke and stuff, but they just got to play along. And when they're drawing all their guns on them, it's just like when the Marleyans give them all like all the Titan serum and stuff. It's just like, oh, we don't really need y'all anymore. We still don't trust y'all. But I feel like Zeke still is planning something. Like him and Eren have something planned that they don't know of. And that goes into but before we go to episode 10, because episode 10 really laid a lot of stuff out. And I think that's setting up another arc and stuff. We go to Sasha's grave, and before we get to Sasha's grave, we get the backstory of like the one dude, Nicholas. I forget the fuck his name. The cook for Marley, and how he was cooking her seafood, and she never had seafood, and I guess they had a thing, and he went to go to her grave, and some dude from I guess it's the military. I think it was the military police, right? Like he was beating him up, and he's like, "Yo, get the fuck out of here, you Marleyan and stuff." And it's kind of like going back to how like the Marleyans would treat like the Eldians and stuff. It's just it's so crazy. It's just like they're doing just what they just did, like pretty much their captives and stuff and all that. And and it's dope that her father was there, and Sasha's father was there, and he was like, "Look, man, I understand." Like, and they shook hands, and it shows that like they could have probably done this another way, but And did you notice that little girl that was with her? That was the same little girl that Sasha saved in season 2.
Right, and I find that to be very important. That's why when I was talking about Sasha earlier, and people was like, "Fuck Sasha," I'm like, where does that possibly come from? Because Sasha is a very important and integral character, and what I'm saying, that's the same little girl. So I just implore everybody, if you haven't already, and if you can find the time, I know everybody got different schedules and stuff, but I feel like if you love this show, if you recommend this show to other people, I beg of you to re-watch the show episode for episode for episode, because it's a completely different show. It's your favorite show once more, but it's different the second time around. For the people who haven't rewatched it, it's very important because you pay attention more. You pay attention less to Eren, Armin, and Mikasa, and you pay attention to the Johns and you pay attention to the Sashas and some of these what seem to be more ancillary characters. But what AOT does so well is that these characters actually get a lot of character development and exploration. So the first time you just watch it and you kind of like, okay, it's just backstory, or this just you're so focused on the main characters that you don't see the level of time that the creators of the show put into some of these side characters, even John and Connie.
Mm-hmm.
Like they take a lot of time with John on the rewatch. They take a lot of time with John and Connie. And on my first watch, I'm like, okay, yeah, fuck, I don't really care about them like that. I see them; they're just side characters. But if you go back and watch, they're kind of given the same treatment as main characters.
Yeah, they're their own, like their own little trio. Like you got Sasha, Connie, and Jean and stuff. They're their own, their own trio outside of the main people that we follow and stuff. Like.
Yeah, no cap. So when I look at that, it's just like that's what I see. And I'm seeing more character development now with some of these new characters that they've introduced in season 4. Zeke's crew and everything like that. And I'm still suspicious of Zeke because he keep talking about doing a rumbling and all that, and I don't.
Yeah,
really
we might as well get right into that one because that's getting to whole. We know somewhat of Zeke's plan, or as far as like he wants. What is his one rule? He wanted the rumbling to like kind of use the rumbling to control the world type of kind of thing, and then in return, his second demand was like let the Marlians and other nations like use your resources and stuff, and then the third like somebody with royal blood has to continuously pump out babies and stuff. And that's what pissed off Aaron at that table. He's like, yo, like we've been stomped on. Now you want us to like breed babies and stuff, be baby breeders and stuff. And he didn't want to sacrifice Historia for that. And before we get into that, like the whole episode where he's sitting there talking to himself and then Hanji's there. I want to get your thoughts on this. Like him kind of threatening Hanji, like, yo, none of these prisons, like none of these bars could like hold me, like none of your toughest prisons could hold me. I got the Warhammer Titan. He was about to transform in that moment. Like
he lost points with me when he grabbed Hanji like that. Because I didn't really like that shit. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, he already lost a few points with me, but he was still Aaron, so I was still cool. But like I told you, Hanji one of my favorite characters. And when he grabbed up Hanji like that, he wouldn't grab Levi like that. He wouldn't grab fucking Commander Irwin like that. For him to grab Hanji like that, and then Hanji kind of sit there for a second and had the question, like, damn, why you even make me commander of this shit? Because of some shit Aaron on. I don't like that.
And we finally get an answer to like who like Irwin put that who's next in line is Hanji, not Levi. He still wants to be captain and stuff. And that's interesting. That's a little interesting tidbit. But I kind of saw it as, since we got a little more backstory on it, like because Hanji always likes to like kind of joke around, and I don't think Aaron's on that type of time. He's like, fight, I gotta fight. Like I forget the exact like quote that they did in the end of the last episode, where it's like if you live, we win, we die, we lose, something like that along the lines of that. But like I think because we talk about time, like at that point when they went back 2 years from that point where he's at now, he's talking about he got 5 years left, and you can kind of see like if you had 5 years is not a lot of time, so you gotta kind of think of something. And like I think Aaron was just tired of just sitting around. He didn't want to wait around, and I think that's why he ran away from home and did his own thing. But I definitely think he's changing. Like he's definitely kind of losing his humanity, because he's still like in that scene where they're all sitting in the train and whatnot. He didn't want none of them to inherit his Titan because he wanted them to live long lives and stuff. But maybe that's changed over time, maybe because they really can't. I don't think Hanji and a lot of the scouts really trust Eren anymore. Besides like Mikasa, even Mikasa kind of looked at it like, when we go to the Connie scene where he's like, "Yo, when it comes time to, we might have to put him down," and Mikasa's like, "Nah," and like, that's why I see that divide coming with the scouts and stuff. They're gonna have to make decisions. But before that, like, we definitely get some major information with Mikasa. She is more important than we thought. Like, she's also of a royal family and stuff this whole time, which is interesting. And I had a feeling, I was like, I mentioned that, like, that Asian woman, she had to be either Ackerman or like something like that, or like, because she had a kimono and all that stuff. So it's like that's really interesting. I'm wondering how that's going to play into things.
My only thing with that, and ALT is such a fine show that I don't really hold this against them, but it's just my personal taste, I should say. I wish they would have shown us that symbol prior.
Mm-hmm. But she's always wore long sleeves, or she'd always have it covered up. I've noticed that.
True. But to reveal, it's just, I don't know, to reveal something like that it wasn't like foreshadowed is kind of un-AOT-ish, if that makes sense. Like, normally AOT would have planted a few seeds on that, even if we didn't really notice it or didn't, and maybe on a rewatch I may see that symbol or something like that. But they normally plant a little foreshadowing before they do a reveal like that. So for that to kind of come out of nowhere, like, oh, I have a tattoo and my mom gave it to me, it was like, I'm with it. I'm on board still, but it's like, normally LT kind of plants seeds before they blossom.
Yeah, it's probably going to play into something, because I always thought that, like, they were saving Mikasa for something kind of bigger. Like, she's always kind of, I won't say be like, I don't know if you would say sidelined, but, I always thought, like, she always played her part, but like they're saving her for something. Like, she's gonna have to do something pretty drastic or something that she don't want to do. I don't know what that is, but just gotta wait and see. Historia's pregnant now. By who? I think
some old farmer knocked her up.
Yeah, but I don't know if I believe. I remember who was in this chat. The Attack Titan, he mentioned that in my comment section. I was like, he doesn't really believe that story, and maybe that's the reason why Eren's acting the way. Maybe Eren's really the baby daddy, and that's why he's been.
Rainer did want to marry her too. Now I don't know the time. I just want to say that. I'm not gonna say it's a possibility. I'm just saying I remember Rainer saying he wanted that to be his wife. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not saying that's who it is. I'm not even gonna make that a theory of mine. I'm just saying I kind of am of the mindset now that you say that the father of that baby is not who they saying it is. Yeah. So I do agree with that.
Cause you notice like how Eren acts whenever when Hanji brings up Historia's name. So something happened. He's like he said you would never like sacrifice Historia, something like that, or some shit. So, and it seems like she's almost lifeless. Like, she doesn't have that. She's not cheery anymore. She's just like, I'm pregnant. Yet. Maybe that's the pregnancy. I don't know, but that's so interesting. So interesting.
Yeah, she on vitamins and shit. She got an attitude.
Yeah, man. So that's I also want to go back to the scene where they're all in the train and they're all talking like, "Oh, I should inherit the Titan." When Mikasa's like, I'll inherit the Titan. She was the first one to step up, and Jean was like, "Nah, we don't even know what an Ackerman is and shit." Like, I don't think that's a good idea. And then John's like, "Nah, I'd do it," but then I think Connie was the one that's like, "Nah, you shouldn't do it because you're like more of a leader, or like you're." I don't know. And then Connie and Sasha kind of had that back and forth, calling each other idiots and stuff. That was pretty funny. I like that, but that shows you. I think that's the last time you really see like Eren's like humanity, like his compassion towards his other comrades as friends and stuff. Because now it's just
Yeah,
like
because the way
he's up.
he grabbed Hanji, bro, I think that's damn near my final straw with him. I don't know, but we on the last leg. He on some real thin ice with me because the way he grabbed Hanji right there, I swear to God, he wouldn't have grabbed Armin or Levi like that at any point. He wouldn't grab him like that now. So for him to do that shit, he really wilding out. So
because he's really using his leverage. He's like, you can't. No person can hold me. You can't kill Zeke. You need him. Who else? He said. He's like, hey, you need me because I got the Falcon Titan. So it's like, yeah, you in a pinch right now. It's just like, so there has to be something between Eren and Zeke that nobody knows of, and I love how I feel like they're teasing it, man. Levi and Zeke in the woods, and Zeke's just sitting there reading his book, and fucking Levi just eyeing him down, just making sure he don't do nothing. And I forgot to mention that they started sending people to different areas and stuff like you know, they're in the Titan Forest or whatever, like, with all the long ass trees. Like, we've been there before. Which, if you pay attention to the trailer, the season 4 trailer, so that there's definitely going to be something popping off. I don't know if you checked out the preview for the next episode.
I haven't yet.
Well, essentially, it was really quick, but essentially, like, Falco and Gabby get out, they escape somehow, and they're lost in the woods.
Oh Lord!
So,
you know,
I don't know.
Fuck.
And Flock's in the scene too, so I don't know. He might end up getting killed somehow, some way, or he might be the next one to go. But I feel like now it's fair game for anybody to kind of die at this moment, and I think Eren's just gonna go down the.
To me, and I hate to be this guy, I really do. But at what point is this Gabby shit starting to be a plot device? Because she really should have died instantly, right? She should have got thrown out the aircraft, whatever. They take her prisoner. Now she breaks out of jail, and they're on the run. And let's just see how they break out of jail. I don't want to speak too soon.
Yeah.
But their existence right now is such a fucking annoyance to me that I want it. So anything they do that doesn't get them killed is aggravating to me. So if I watch next week and they didn't snuck out or they did some shit to break out of jail and they running around and shit, that's gonna fucking irritate me. And it seems like they're only alive to try to keep the plot of their significance going. I don't know. I want to watch first before I make a judgment or anything, but it's just starting to be like, what?
Because Colt definitely wants to go after his brother, so like that's probably why they want to keep them alive, to see how that goes. Who knows? I definitely expect to see one more time Eren versus Reiner. I could see that, like, see them fight like 12 rounds. I don't give a fuck. Like, that's really irritating when they fight, because it's always they always. I think,
speaking of that, really quickly, there was in the rewatch I noticed there was a battle between the Beast Titan and the Armor Titan that we never got to see.
That was,
he beats him and he says, "Well, I win, so we got to do it my way." I want to see that battle.
Yeah, it's just like, we never see the Beast Titan really fight other Titans like that. Like, and I guess that was just to show you, like, the Beast Titan is just not to be fucked with, and like he can make light work of like the armor, like something like the Armor Titan. We'll probably get that somewhere down the line, most likely. Like I said, like, Zeke himself is still a mystery, even though we just know what we know of him. But I feel like he is a wild card. Like,
very wild.
He's a wild card. But yeah, that's pretty much episodes 5 through 10. Man, it was I can't wait to this whole series is complete, because they're definitely gonna come back with a part 2. They're not gonna wrap things up in like 5 episodes. It's not gonna happen. They're probably gonna wait until like the last couple episodes to announce something. But show's amazing.
It's absolutely amazing. Like, I mean, and we just really scratched the surface of so much stuff. I mean, so the black guy, he's Eldian, right? He could turn into a Titan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you
so
wanted to. Yeah.
it's
I
just
like, and also I wanted to touch on that real quick because like that never really gets brought up in anime, like race
hmm
and just especially like black people in anime. They always like kind of get treated as jokes and not really serious. And it's just like I like the little explanation he put in there. Like when Sasha asked him, like, "Why is your skin dark?" It's like, "Oh, the creator made me this way," and shit. Like, and I was like, "That's pretty dope that they acknowledge that shit because that doesn't usually happen in anime." So, you know,
yeah, you never really see that. And then sometimes they play it as it's like a colorblind thing. It's like the person may be skin tone, a black skin tone or whatever, or be
hmm
black. And it's never just like you said, even acknowledge that their skin tone is different. So it was great for them to acknowledge that because that's really what they're dealing with. Even Commander Pixis said that, like, we're kind of new to all of this stuff. So we don't really know everything that goes on in the world.
yeah,
So for them to react to seeing someone of a different skin tone for the first time, that's a very natural thing to really ask and say for people who are just experiencing the world for the first time. So I do
hmm
appreciate that. And I appreciate the broader context of that as far as we've been with these characters for years now, but we're experiencing the world through their eyes for the first time, and they're asking and doing critical things to acknowledge that.
right, right, yeah, man, that
So,
was that.
so will he turn into a Black Titan? Like he gonna have an
I don't.
afro and some Jordans
Somebody could
on?
somebody could correct me in the comment section. Is he Eldian? Because like I remember them explaining that they were just um there were like Marlians would take people of Marley would take people from different like nations and force them into like their militaries and stuff like that to work for them. So they might not be Eldian. They might just be regular humans, but still it's dope to see a black character in the show. Like
Yeah, I
I'll
was
take
gonna
either or.
say because I wonder what his Titan gonna be.
Got wave.
What's
Got
up,
a fresh lineup.
motherfucker?
So what do you want to see in these like we know it's not going to end anytime soon, but like the next few episodes, like what do you? I know I could probably guess that you just want to see Levi versus Zeke one more time.
Always,
Um,
yeah. I want to see Gabby killed brutally, viciously, very in a torturous way, in an unceremonious way, and I really want to see, and I want to see Falco killed. I'm not, I'm they're two peas in a pod for me. They can both get killed. I actually would like to see Gabby have to watch Falco be killed and then be killed herself. That's just my personal. That's how I feel about that.
some
But
Walking Dead shit.
yeah, I would want to see. Uh, I want to see what Zeke's plan is. I want to see what this rumbling is because this rumbling is really interesting to me. Waking up the Titans
Yeah,
out of the walls because I feel like that's going to be a major event and the purpose of it is going to be important. So I want to see the rumbling, and then I want to see who Historia baby daddy is because that's a big deal. Like who knocked up the damn queen?
right.
Because that's the prince or princess in her belly. I don't know if they named what she's having yet, but
Yeah,
that's the prince or princess in her belly. So we need to figure out, who's the baby daddy on who knocked up the queen. So those are some
right.
of the storylines that stand out to me. Honestly, I'm not into this Mikasa royal family storyline. I feel like right now it's a bridge too far. I'll correct myself if it turns out to be something I'm interested in. But right now, that storyline is just one element of character development that I'm really not trying to go down that line right now. So
Yeah,
it's just like one thing. It's just like one thing too many. Like, oh, and Mikasa's actually a princess of another nation. I was like, okay, I can kind of do without that right now. So that's really what I'm looking forward to. Some of the storylines that I'm looking to see some resolutions to.
yeah, I could agree with that, but like I think they just threw that in there to kind of give you more backstory, which is Mika, so where she comes from, because it's still a mystery, like that whole like the whole Ackerman and their clan and stuff. They're still kind of a mystery and how they got wiped out and stuff. Um, so Because if that's the case, then Levi would technically be connected because they're both, they're technically like, were they cousins? They'd be cousins or something like that. But I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know if the Ackermans are a royal family or is that just a clan? I don't know.
It might be a clan within that, like,
Yeah, a
or
clan
something like
within
that.
the clan. So you gotta the Ackermans are a certain group of people, and then within that people, there's the people with the symbol that Mikasa had.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I don't
That
know.
makes sense.
Unless that thing is kind of the ultimate backstory of the Ackermans, right? If we find out like who the Ackermans really are as a full backstory that includes Levi and everybody, then I'll be more interested in it. But just as Mikasa having her own little, and me moment, I'm like, it's just too much going on right now, Mikasa, for me to care about what's going on with your backstory. Like,
Right.
unless it's an Ackerman backstory, then I care. But other than that, I really don't care.
Okay. So out of the 5 out of 10, like, these episodes we talked about, which one was your favorite that stood out to you?
5, 6, and 7 were all
Okay.
10 out of 10s. That entire battle in Marley was a 10 out of 10. The last 2, I'll give them 7, about 7.5 out of 10 for each, respectively, because it was more of a kind of backstory, backfill.
Yeah, calming down.
Yeah, calm down. Which I enjoyed that because it's necessary. It's almost exposition, but it wasn't very revealing. Like we didn't get no big reveals. Like I'm still kind of confused about why would Armin go down and talk to Annie. Like even on my rewatch, I'm trying to look to see like what type of relationship they have.
They always kind of.
Not really.
But
I remember you said that. You said they always kind of had something, but it'll have to be Bertholt's memories down there. I can understand that, but Armin
that
really
might be
never had nothing with Annie like that. Like
maybe because he ate Berto, he kind of like sees what he saw like with Annie, like he has those feelings, and also probably like that's the only person he could really talk to at that moment. He could talk to Aaron because Aaron wasn't trying to listen to, like, that's probably the only person that would like listen to him, or he thinks he could, like, she could hear him. And I'm wondering how she's going to play into all this, and she's just going to stay in the crystal the whole fucking time.
I'm assuming at some point she'll come out. I'm assuming. I don't know.
Yeah.
Shit. I mean,
or maybe Armin's just going crazy. He's just like, yeah, I'm gonna talk to somebody that can't hear me.
But what's interesting, he's down there. If he's down there under the memories of Bertholdt, then why he's down there with the seashell? Because that seashell is very unique to Armin himself as a character. So he's down there that seashell, which was always his dream to get to the ocean. But at the same time, talking to Annie, that shit, I'm gonna need some explanation. Either that or see. My point in bringing that up is to say that was kind of a reveal for that episode. Like dun dun dun, he's talking to Annie, but I'm like dun dun dun. That don't mean shit to me. Like that doesn't resonate with me because there's no foreshadowing, there's no setup for that. So that didn't really land with me. And I got a lot of questions around that. Now, normally AOT pays that off later down the road, which I'm expecting them to do. So that's why I got to get that episode like a 7.5, because it's like, that's not nothing that really rings a bell. Armin talking to Annie.
Yeah, but like the seashell thing, like I think he just holds on to that as like just as a memory, like, or maybe that's like a part, like, so he doesn't. So I feel like part of Armin, he doesn't want to lose his sanity, even though he knows he has to do what he has to do. Like even going back to earlier seasons, like where he said sometimes you gotta kill people and shit like that. And Aaron gave him the crazy look, like, "Oh, you're usually like the non-violent one," and stuff like that. And I don't know, there might be something to that. Yeah. So this was definitely a dope talk. I don't want to keep you too long, but I always like to keep it like an hour and a half, and it's perfect.
It's all good.
It's perfect. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, this was fun, bro. We got to see where they end up and come back to do a full season review.
Yeah, I'm down for that. I'll definitely keep in touch with you about that. I'm mad as hell. I missed the pound for pound last night. You was talking. What was the
We
it
did
was
a
breakup
pound for pound.
songs.
Yeah, we did a pound for pound, which is a show we do on Periscope, which is a music debate competition where two people will select songs and then play them back to back, and then we'll vote to see which song is better. And last night's theme was heartbreaking love songs, and we got all kinds of stuff from Jasmine Sullivan to Whitney Houston to Jaheim and Genuine, and we just got so many great songs from so many different artists that last night was just an incredible. It was so incredible that I played last night. Normally I host and never play, but I even picked a few songs last night.
Yeah, I caught the tail end of it when you were talking about that. It's like, yeah, I think it was the after show.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the after show, but I gotta catch the replay on that because that's interesting. I always like popping in and seeing who's going against who, and it'd be really tough a lot of times. Like I forget who it was like double it was like was it like double triple overtime that you was
Yeah,
going
with
one
Brad and
time.
Key had
Yeah, that was crazy.
match where they had to keep picking songs to keep it going. So
yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, man. But yeah, make sure y'all go follow the Black Guru. You know what I'm saying? All his information is in the description below. I appreciate everybody in the chat that pulled up. We had like damn near over 20 people watching at one point. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry I couldn't like interact with none of y'all in the chat, but like I'd just be so caught up here. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to
the chat was lit.
Yeah, the chat was good.
Chat, man, I want to thank y'all for holding us down. And I was reading some of them comments. Some started getting a little spoilery, so I kind of little manga spoiler. So I kind of looked away, but the chat was definitely engaged tonight. So y'all was keeping it real in the chat. I appreciate y'all for hanging out with us.
Yep. So this has been AOT Live number 3. I will be back next month when we get the full 16. You know what I'm saying? The next 5 episodes, 6 episodes, whatever. Because I'm pretty sure they're going to announce a part 2 or even movies. Some people want movies. So I was like, I'd rather just take a series, just take a year off and build up the hype and stuff in the last like final episodes, make it a grand finale type shit. Yeah, so far this is definitely one of my favorite seasons. I think this is becoming my favorite season just because it's tying everything up. You know, I still think like the peak of the show is season 3 and 4 as far as just the storytelling goes and stuff. It's just taking it to the next level. I still love season 2. I love all the seasons to be honest, but like it just keeps surprising me. Like going in one direction and thinking it's going to go one direction and goes a completely different direction and stuff, and it's just keeping me invested every week and stuff. You know, a lot of shows can learn from this.
True,
but
every show can learn from it actually.
Yeah, just a little tidbit. You know, the last 3 episodes of WandaVision are supposed to be an hour. So I was like, so we're gonna get 30 minutes of credits, like
right? They gonna put some more credits on that shit.
We're gonna get 45-minute episodes with 15-minute credits. Get that shit the fuck out of here. But I'm in there for I'm gonna see how it ends. But you know, I don't keep you too long. But I appreciate everybody in the chat. You know what I'm saying? I'll see y'all next time.
All right, one love, man.
Peace.